Well, hello there. If you're new here, I'm breaking down the entire I Know What You Did Last Summer television series, episode by episode, with plot summaries and my thoughts on each. Now, these episodes are very spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen the show and you want to know what happens, I suggest you go back, watch that first, and then come back here to enjoy this video series. Alright, let's get into it. Today we're going to be looking at I Know What You Did Last Summer, Season 1, Episode 3, titled A Gorilla Head Will Not Do, which dropped on Amazon Prime on October 15th, 2021. As a reminder, at the end of the last video we had a body count of 3 people and 1 goat. Quick recap of what we know so far. Allison and Lennon are twins. They had a big falling out at a party a year ago. Then all of Lennon's friends piled into Lennon's car afterwards, where Allison was sitting wearing Lennon's coat. They hit Lennon in the street, killing her, and everyone thought that was Allison. That's their big secret, and someone knows it. That someone has been tailing Allison, who's posing as Lennon, and at the end of the last episode, they killed Johnny and his boyfriend, the coach. And to add insult to injury, they sent everyone in the OG crew a video of themselves beheading Johnny from Allison's phone. So, something I didn't mention at the end of the last episode was that Johnny's severed head was at the side of the road where Allison, who was posing at Lennon, stopped when they almost hit the goat body. In fact, I'm pretty sure that head was left in the exact spot where they found Lennon's body. Well, this episode starts off showing a spider crawling around inside that severed head's ear, and those spiders are going to be a recurring theme throughout the show. Now, Allison, as Lennon, rushes home to tell Dad what's happened. She finds his phone on the counter, and on his phone she accidentally sees a video of him boning the police chief. Yikes. Speaking of the chief, right now, at this very moment in the show, she's investigating the murders of Johnny and the coach at the gym. The OGs meet up at the Quickie Mart parking lot to discuss the beheading video. They kick the idea of Allison being the actual killer around, seeing as how this person has Allison's phone, like nobody else could have Allison's phone, right? Dylan drops Riley off at home after a mostly silent drive where he's remembering something that happened between the two of them at the party. We're not going to learn more about that until later. That's going to be something that recurs over and over again in this series. We're going to see a little fleeting hints at things that happened at the party that we're not going to understand the full picture of until the very end. Anyways, this is the first time that we see Courtney, who is Lennon's housekeeper, outside of work. She's Riley's mom. She's kind of a piece of work. She lives in the trailer park, and she's a partier. Allison, as Lennon, gets menaced by the truck again, this time pretty much right in front of Dad, and he doesn't even seem to notice. Dad knows about Johnny's death. He goes to comfort Allison, and finally she's able to let her emotions out. The murder is all the townsfolk are talking about in the restaurant the next day, and the people are thinking it's the coach's ex-wife, the wife that he left for Johnny. Now apparently the restaurant attached to the motel that Lennon's dad owns is called the Ohana, and that means family in Hawaiian, and I learned that from Lilo and Stitch. Dad decides to open up to Allison about his relationship with Chief Lila, and we get a little bit of story exposition about her mother. Now, this guy still seems to be impersonating Keanu Reeves, and it's kind of funny. In the middle of their talk, though, whoever it is that has Allison's phone texts Allison, who is posing as Lennon, a pin drop with a location where they're supposed to meet up. Now the two cops, Chief Lila and her deputy Doug, go to interview Kelly Kraft, who's the coach's ex-wife. Someone has vandalized her house, calling her a coach killer and all sorts of stuff. Now, Doug's not very personable, and he's a bit of an odd duck. He decides that he's going to interrogate Riley sitting right outside her house. Now, Courtney comes along and sets this guy straight. Allison waits for a little while at the meetup spot, and the person who has her old phone is a no-show. A short while later, she gets another text, this time directing her to the Quickie Mart, where Dale, the guy who saw them on the night that they killed her sister, works. Allison arrives, lets herself in through the back door, and the place seems to be really nasty. Like there's garbage all over the place and there's rats just openly running around. People get food from there. It's super gross. Anyway, all of a sudden Dale appears and kind of attacks her. Now the OG crew has a big team meeting in the cave where they got rid of Allison. And Allison, posing as Lennon, tries to tell everyone what happened with Dale just now. She is sure that he is the killer and she's going to deal with him by hook or by crook. But she never gets her chance because Dale is dead. The killer took the tube that makes the slushies, shoved it down his throat, turned on the spigot, and killed him. and it looks pretty gross and a little cool at the same time.
Bruh.
Anyways, Deputy Doug finds the body and he's on the case. Something stinks, and he's going to be the one to figure it out. Now we're approaching the end of the episode, and like we've seen before in the previous episodes, there's always something that happens in the last 3 minutes. This time, whoever has Allison's phone isn't quite done, because they decide to send the OGs a video of Lennon having intercourse with Dylan from the night of the party.
Yikes!
Just to keep things interesting. I guess we're going to hear what they all thought of that in the next episode, because this one's over.
Wow.
We're at the end of this episode, so what's our body count looking like now? Well, we've got 4 people and 1 goat. Not looking too good for the people, am I right? And with that, our first red herring has been eliminated. Dale couldn't possibly be the killer because the killer killed Dale.
Duh.
I never thought the killer was Dale anyway. It would have been far too obvious. At the time that I was first watching this show, I was convinced that the killer was Dad. Anyways, as far as quality goes, I rate this episode a 6.5 out of 10. So please join me for my next episode where we break down the I Know What You Did Last Summer television series. As always, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. It takes you 2 seconds, costs you $0. You can subscribe to as many people as you want, and you can get caught up on all the crazy stuff that I get up to on my channel. And please remember to leave a like and a comment if you like what you see. Thank you very much. Goodbye.